Hi guys, welcome to Radioactive Sound Studios Lab. We're doing a massive gear review for you guys today. We'll be reviewing Chameleon Labs flagship rack mountable unit, the 7721 stereo VCA bus compressor. And I'm going to talk briefly about her and how I have installed on my signal chain. I had did some reworking. I changed all my signal chains around, and because I have two, both on one side and another on the other side, so I kind of changed the master chain around, and that goes back to my Argosy L10 rack where all the preamps and bus compressor are installed. On my two bus, I have on my Yamaha MGP a multi-band processor, and what that means is that you have all this frequency bands divided up, and it's multi, which means you have multiple bands of processing on each different band. So you have your highs, mids, lows, and all like that, and it's just separated into different bands of processing. It allows you to have the most multiplication and dynamic control over your mixed bus. And I decided to put the 77 VCA stereo bus compressor on there because I think she'll do a good job on that particular channel. Now I'm going from channel 17 to channel 7. And the reason why is because on channel 7 I have the 7603 Chameleon Labs mic preamp, which is the other flagship device, analog device. And on that preamp I have the Series Black LA 320 series microphone, vacuum tube microphone installed on that preamp. So I have different ways of how I go in and out of the system, but we're going to talk briefly about the 7721 VCA stereo bus compressor and how I have her installed on my lab. Now guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe so you guys can see more and more gear pulling stuff. The track in the background is one of the tracks that I'm going to have that drum bus compressor installed on. That bus compressor is going to help tame those low ends and cut out those nasty peaks, and I think she'll be good for that. So we're going to get to the review, but I want to thank y'all guys for joining the lab, and it's a monster gear review for you guys. So let's start with the back. First of all, she has an internal power supply, which I like because I don't like the wall-wart power supplies. I like the internal power supplies. And she does feature a side chain out. So if you guys want to install an EQ or any kind of other trigger that you can use as a source trigger for this compressor. And she's a 2-in, 2-out XLR. So which means that she has 2 in and she will have a 2 back out to your source or console. She has a gain reduction knob, and she has it where you can monitor the left side, you can monitor the right side, or you can just put her in gain reduction so you can see the compression happening. You'll see the metering happening and moving the LED knob. She has a 50-50 wet and dry blend, which is what everybody raves about. And she also has a high and a low shelf. She has the tinted knobs, so that you can see what's going on with them, and then you can feel that it's happening. It's pretty heavy too also, and because she has a massive transformer on the input and output stage. She's nickel wound, by the way, and Chameleon Lab did a good job cutting down the distortion, and just an excellent chassis that they designed. They got the internal power supply over on this side. You got all of your metering at the top, all nickel wound transformers to the top. They got step pots. It has the switchable selector switches here that you can use to select the switches. And this is an awesome device. So I haven't really done a review of it, so I decided to just pull it out of the rack and just do a review of it because I'm getting around to all the gear that I do have in my lab, and I didn't get a chance to do a review for it. So this is one of those ones where I didn't get a chance to do a full review of it because I was in the process of moving things around in my signal chain, and I kind of wanted to shine a spotlight on Chameleon Labs' flagship VCA stereo bus compressor. And like I said, I do have her sister, which is the 7603 mic preamp. And both of them are amazing in my studio lab, and I'm pleased to have them both in my lab. And like I said, she's a 2-in, 2-out, and the way I have it routed out from my stereo out of my mixing console, Yamaha MGP. She's going into the input of this preamp compressor VCA bus, and she's coming out of the VCA bus TRS back into the input stage of my unit. And then that second out is TRS 2 cables back into my stereo insert on my insert bus, my master stereo bus. And what that does is that she'll take, this unit will have the total overall master bus control over the entire signal band. So all 32 channels will be, this compressor will be the master compressor for all 32 channels, which is the way I have it set up in here. Like I said, and she's also a 2 in, 2 out. So I must keep mentioning that because I don't want you guys to get twisted up. She's a 2 in, 2 out. So you have to have TRS back into input source to have her pretty much predominantly all wired up. Now, like I said, she's amazing. This is just simply amazing. She does really have everything that you would need on a bus compressor. Like I said, she has the 50/50 wet blend dry knob on the top. She has the high shelf, she has a low shelf, she has a high value where you could pretty much turn her up and really drive her, and all that kind of good stuff. So and it's pretty good. And plus I like the colored knobs too also, because the colored knobs really remind you of that old vintage gear. Plus this is the way I like how Chameleon Labs do. They don't want to be like other devices, so they created their own flagship to model after the old consoles and stuff like that. So they decided to do their own, and I'm pleased that they did. They used to have a silver face, but I wasn't really too interested in the silver face because I like pretty much the black units in my rack, plus my rack's all black, so it makes a difference in that. So I decided to go for this. When I saw them advertising, they bought it out, I was like, wow, I had to have this. So this is an amazing microphone preamp. So I decided to use this as the first review on my signal chain, since I actually broke her all down and had her already installed. So today's gear review, guys, will be the Chameleon Labs 7721 stereo VCA bus compressor installed on my Master 2 bus along with some multi-band processing. Now this helps me get those nasty low end peaks out and drive her to get some real good signal gain out of her. And I'm pleased to have this in the rack. I'm telling you this, guys, because Chameleon Labs makes good stuff, and the way they do a good job on bringing that classic analog style to a modern age. And like I said, she's pretty heavy. She has an internal power wart supply. She's a 2 in, 2 out, and she also has a sidechain out. So if you guys want to use her to trigger any other device, EQ or any kind of fixed unit, you can use that output on here. And then he has a selector in the front where you can change her from the sidechain output. She also has a lot of good features that you would find on a very expensive compressor. Now she's not cheap. She runs about $900 and some odd dollars, and her sister mic preamp, I think she's about $800. And like I said, it was the best money ever spent, because in this business I'm looking for vintage perfection, not something that I'm gonna have to buy again or to replace because it doesn't really work. But Chameleon Labs VCA 2177, you could rely on the 7721 to do just about anything, like I said, and she's all ready to go. Nicely done, Chameleon Labs. Also, we have a couple of other pieces of gear too that I also want to talk about too, also that I did have in my signal chain. This 7721 VCA compressor will go back into, first of all, I only use pig hog cables in my studio, so shout out to pig hog. My entire studio is wired with pig hog, and she's a 2 in, 2 out on this compressor here. So you will wire her, she's going from out of my console's main output into the compressor, out of the compressor's output, TRS, 2 jacks, into the stereo return in insert, And this is how you set it up for an overall bus of the stereo band. And on that particular band, I have a multi-band compressor installed on that multi-band. So that way she sounds nice and tight when I have those lows and those highs coming through. Now I did rewire a lot of other things too also, but I mainly kind of wanted to start on my signal chain because that's coming out of my DAW of Reasons of Choice, Reasons 10. This is all I use. I have a Nectar P6 over here, 61 MIDI control advanced workstation. I did a review on that. Y'all guys didn't see it, check it out on my channel. The next thing I'm also reviewing is the Yamaha HM8 subwoofer. I didn't get a chance to review the HS8S because I was too busy working on other sources, so I have to have time to set aside to have time to review her. But right now she's on down here and she can really feel the rumble, and she's pretty cool. Along with a lot of VCA compression and a few sidechain maneuvers, this 7721 will be pretty much ideal setup for my lab. And I kind of wanted to make sure I had everything wired up properly. Like I said, I have the 1066 installed on channels 1 through 4. I have the 266 DVX compressor on channels 5 and 6. And then she'll be the 7603 mic preamp will be installed on channel 7 because I have her designated separate. And on top of her, I have the Loudon Audio LA320 microphone installed on that. There's other microphones I did plug to her too. I did have a Manley Reference C microphone. I do have a Telefunken TF51 microphone, and I'm working right now to get a AKG CK12 microphone. That's one of my favorite microphones. I love that Berlin microphone. That microphone is just absolutely amazing. So I'm willing to just bite the dust and just go ahead on and get that microphone, because to me, I love vintage tube microphones, and then you can't get no better than the CK12. AKG makes astonishing microphones, as well as Telefunken and as well as Loudon Audio. They all make fantastic microphones. And this is the reason why I had to reorganize my signal chains, because I wanted all the preamps to be the dominant force, and I wanted them all routed back with pig-hog cables to the designated input channels on my Yamaha MGP console. And then once it's routed on the console, I can then in return give a little bit of EQing, go back to the console, dial in what I need to dial in, and then have everything already set up. So this, to me, is an efficient workflow. It's a unique way of how I kind of have everything all set up in this particular lab. And I'd like to thank y'all guys for checking me out and checking all my gear review tech stuff. I will be reviewing other gear too also that I have in the lab. But for right now, the last 2 weeks I've been installing the 7721 and the stereo VCA compressor, along with the 1066 and the 266 compressors. And then right under that will be the Universal Audio LA610 MK2. And then installed on that, I usually put the Manley Reference C and the Telefunken TF51. But to me, I want the ultimate. I want to install the AKG CK12 on my Chameleon Labs 7603 mic preamp. That's what I don't see on YouTube, so I kind of want that to happen. Usually they always assign it to a different preamp, but I kind of want to install it on that preamp because I think that preamp, I can't wait to see what it would do on that. And there's also a lot of gear techie reviews that I do also have coming out. There's multiple things that I kind of wanted to do in different situations, so I kind of break things down, move things around in this area, kind of move things on different sides of the fence when it comes to my lab. But like I say, on my main tube bus, I do have multi-band compression. What it does is it breaks down the highs, mids, and lows, and it separates them into multi-bands of processing. Multi means minimum, a lot of bands together, working together as your overall spectrum, giving you total control over your equalization and your processing of the DAW. And it offers a huge difference when it comes to multi-band processing. And for me, as an analog baby, I do have a hybrid setup. My console is a hybrid. It's a 32 channel analog out. It features some astonishing Class D preamps. It does have leveling, inductor, and compressors on every channel. It does have it where the entire console can record, and it also features iPad ready. It goes back out to our iPad, so you can control it with our iPad and through the MGP monitor editor app. And there's tons of routing output and tons of processing and routing options you have with this console here. In the background is the track that I'm working on now for my Uncharted Ruins EP. This is the reason why I had to reorganize my signal chain, because there's a lot going on with that signal chain. I've been up all night long, just hell, for the past couple of months I've been up just reorganizing, because one time I change it and then I'll say, oh, I don't want this, I don't want that. So I got this huge scheduler where I write down what preamp and what microphone is going to be installed on what preamp, so that way I have a chart designed, so when your client comes into the studio, I'll say, well, I listen to her voice, I say, oh, I'm going to put this microphone on this particular situation, and then I go and I mic it up. But on that particular situation, you're going to that preamp also, so that microphone is going to be installed on that preamp. So instead of me just patching in, I automatically have it already set up. The preamps are already on the channel. All I do is just put the microphone in the channel. So all I have to do is just bring the microphone out of my mic closet and then plug it into that VCA pack. In this case, the LA320 has its own VCA pack, so you just plug that in. So I already have the packs already ready. I'll just plug in the microphone into the VCA pack and turn on the channel button, and then she's already going out into the necessary preamp. Then there's another preamp too also that I didn't really get a chance to talk about, which I'm going to do a review on too, the Drama 1973. On that particular one, I'm going to install again the LA320 and the LA320 and the TF51 microphone. I have that installed on that one, and then on the second one, as the top end, I have the CK12 plugged to the 73 by Drama, and then I'll have another preamp plugged to that too also, because I think I have the Dave Hills Europa, and I do also have the Titan compressors, one for the left and one for the right side. There's a bunch of huge things that I do have as far as vintage gear. I love vintage gear, and I love vintage microphones to go along with the preamps that I do have. Like I say, my console has RevX chips inside. I do have onboard effects. I do have everything I predominantly need to record, but I just wanted to reorganize my signal chain and make sure that she's up to speed from about this particular time. The next month is my birthday month, so I'm really stoked out because I'm really organizing things differently. Some of the microphones I'm actually recording through also too, so that way I can get my voiceovers done on my tracks, or if I'm working on a movie theme, which I do. I'm also a film director, so I'm also working on a lot of projects at one time. Like I said, I got Uncharted Ruins, I got Deep Record Reactor 5, I got Deep Record Works, I have the Nightlife EP, I have Dream Awakening, my pop rock EP. So it's like I have a lot of projects that I'm pretty much doing. So I necessarily need the signal chain reorganized, up to date, and I think this way I predominantly have everything all wired up and ready to go. But like I said, the 7721 VCA compressor, along with the rest of the racks that I do have in my Argosy rack. I'm proud of all the devices that I do have, and I'm proud to do a gear review for you guys. So you guys check my channel out. Don't forget to feel free to drop me a message. Feel free to subscribe, and thank y'all guys always for y'all support, and we'll keep more gear reviews going on. But right now we have the Chameleon Labs 7721 VCA stereo bus compressor as today's gear porn review, and this is Chameleon Labs flagship device, along with the 7603, which is also Chameleon Labs flagship device, 2 in 2 out stereo bus compressor, and this will be the wiring gear point for today. So thank y'all guys for y'all support. Don't forget, click that like button and subscribe, and y'all get notified whenever I do a gear review. So from the Radioactive Sound Studios, I'm DJ Farrell, your host and the CEO of the company, and I do more than just make tracks. I'm also a DJ by trade and electrician and all kinds of other good stuff, film director, blah blah, aka, but I'm an analog baby first. And what not better to celebrate my birthday next month by reviewing some vintage gear. So shout out to y'all guys for stopping by the lab, and feel free to check me out whenever I do a video. And as always, guys, peace, love, and keep it analog. More gear review coming anytime soon.